For NFL action, there's only one station to follow all season long. Sports Radio 810 WHB. Sports Radio 810 is the home of NFL Sundays, Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night.
Let's get it.
And Sports Radio 810 is your home for the NFL playoffs. Follow the NFL on Kansas City's hometown radio station, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Sports Talk powered by fans. Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City, the power of sports.
You've waited all week long for the ship to arrive. Well, it's here. The Ship with Darren Smith, here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
It's all fun and games till we get into the ring, and then you find out who's softer than Aquafina. If you can't stand the heat, stay away from my arena, cause all I bring is heat. You can call me jalapeno, keep my name out your mouth unless you're trying to sing accolades that you get from seeing the champion ring. Belt, trophy, your ring. If you gotta show your bling, then tune in to the ship where we talk about it, man. But if you tune in, you better know it's showtime. Then every time he speak, man, he gonna speak his mind. Keeping the straight facts while others, they just assume we're keeping it 100 while faking there's no room. With the livest interviews and the hottest guests, you done dealt with the rest, now roll with the best. But before I forget, let me get back to the script, introduce you to the host of the ship, Darren Smith.
Welcome to the Ship with Darren Smith here, live on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It is a beautiful, kind of cool Sunday morning, but we are here for the next 2 hours talking sports and everything in the world of sports. With me, as always, is my guy, Mr. Jordan Tucker, JTuck151. What it do, baby boy?
Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Darren, how's it going, man?
It's going much better. Now, I know you probably would have preferred to still be in Miami, but I appreciate you coming back.
Ain't South Beach here in Kansas City.
No South Beach whatsoever. Also joining us on the phone lines, our guy down in Tyler, Texas. He is the sports director for KO TV ABC 7, Michael Coleman. Michael, what it do, man?
How you doing? Hey, Miami Vice, welcome back.
Keeping us on.
I know you was loving it.
Yeah, loving it, man. Loving it.
Keeping us on the air is, of course, Blake Schneiders. Blake, how you doing this morning, man?
Good morning, fellas. Doing fantastic. Great to see y'all's faces today.
All right. And, of course, we have a very special guest in the building. He is my Facebook friend who I got to tell this quick story because this happened to me a couple of times a couple of weeks ago. A guy was like, comes up to me, what's your name? I'm like, I'm sitting there like, hold on, man. What you talking about, man? Like, I ain't said nothing to you. Girl, I ain't did that. I said, hold on, man. What are you talking about? He was like, nah, man, you just look for me. I was like, Darren Smith, Toriano Porter. I was like, oh, my man. Now look, I noticed it from a distance. I just go see if he knew who I was. And so he is a breaking news reporter as well as a member of the Kansas City Star Editorial Board. He's my good friend, Toriano Porter. Good morning, man. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm blessed. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. But let me put some respect on my name. I'm an opinion writer. For the Kansas City
I'm sorry. Well, look, and he has some very strong opinions. And look,
let's get it right.
Today is the day that we're going to get some strong opinions from this man because we've got a lot to talk about it. But again, thank you so much for doing it because I know we had conversations before, had the invite and stuff. So this is one of the things that you love to do, love to talk about sports anyway. So we're going to have your voice on here a lot. So, so I really appreciate you, making time in your schedule and stuff to join us today because it means a lot.
Let me interject.
Yes,
TP, I'm a fan of yours, man.
Sir.
So I'm glad to have you aboard, brother.
Yes, sir. We miss you here. We do.
All right. Now,
Thank you, brother.
First things first. Now, I talked about introducing a segment called Fair or Foul, and it was going to be a segment. This looked like this particular conversation might take the entire hour. So we're going to just jump right into things. And basically, there were comments made this week from the University of Alabama's head coach, Nick Saban, who was talking to Alabama business people. Let's just use that phrase loosely, but he was talking to members of the Booster Club or however you want to call it. And he made a lot of comments this week saying that, the NIL needs to be regulated, but also called out a couple of colleges along with he didn't utilize their names, but he talked about the programs being Texas A&M, talking about how they had the #1 recruiting class. Now, mind you, Alabama was #2, so I'm not sure how that's really a big slight, but because he didn't have the #1, he called out Texas A&M, said that they basically bought and paid for their players, and then later on within that same dialogue, talked about Jackson State, which is an historically black college and university, paying $1 million for the #1 recruit, #2 recruit in the country to go there. So we do have comments from Nick Saban. We'll play that and talk about it on the other side.
You've read about them. You know who they are. I mean, we were second in recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team. Made a deal for name, image, and likeness. All right, we didn't buy one player. All right, but I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain that in the future because more and more people are doing it.
Now, I know Jimbo Fisher the very next day, I saw his thing live and retweeted. I saw a line where he I guess you want to call it ether. He went out and tried to ether Nick Saban with his comments, said he was disgraceful. People look at him as a god, say, hey, go look in his closet, go see the type of sins that he's committed. And as someone who's been an assistant coach, he probably knows where some of the bodies are buried. Deion Sanders, to his credit, took a higher road, but did say that, hey, he knows about the bag men because he's Deion Sanders, and he's probably one of the people who deliver bags or whatever for for teams and schools if they needed it. Mike, I'll start with you. Fair or foul in your thought process and your of Nick Saban's comments?
Well, in hindsight, when you listen to what Nick said, he sounded accusatory, but he was being accusatory on something that's legal. Okay? Now, college coaches, they understand that high school athletes, especially young brothers, those are lottery tickets. That's what they are. And I think Nick, needs to try harder to be #1, okay? And #2, he opened up a Pandora's box because when Jimbo Fisher had spoke for an unplanned press conference, he called a press conference. We're going to have a press conference at 10 o'clock the next day, and they did. And when he spoke, he alluded to some things that Nick was doing that was underhanded when that was not legal. So it's kind of like he got called out, but you said the emperor has no clothes type of mentality, and that's what he exposed. Now where it goes from here, I don't know. Probably nowhere, but it's there. And then to drag Deion into it. And I'm thinking, don't they do Aflac commercials together? I mean, what's up with that? Do. Okay, that's a quick turn against of somebody, and he did take the high road as you mentioned, D. So I think the message Nick tried to get out to his Birmingham business folks and boosters, y'all got to step up your game, because if you don't, we'll be playing Prairie View and Jackson State and getting beat or winning by 1 or 2 points because they're going to be ahead of us in that respect. And I'm surprised Alabama's not already doing it that way. I really am. Now, Texas got that long green with the oil cats and all that. So Nick was sending out a message, but when he did, he stepped on the feet of folks who are in the same industry as he is. And more importantly, he stepped on the toes of somebody who watched him do dirty things in the dark, and that's dangerous. He became a snitch by accident. And trust me. And I'm surprised there was no follow-up at Jimbo's press conference, but there's going to be with Nick and Jimbo down the road. It's a long way before the football season, college-wise. But right now, this gets us talking, and you don't need to sell tickets for an Alabama game against Texas A&M, but I think somehow they have sold extra tickets for that game if it wasn't sold out already.
Jordan, obviously, Jimbo Fisher said what he said. They do face off later on in the college football season. Obviously, as Mike said, it's not like you needed this to build up any animosity, but he took it personal because he felt that Saban's attack was one, not only attack on him and his credibility, but also the university and also to the parents and to those kids that they signed. Because it's like, You make it seem like they couldn't have made the decision themselves. Now they're playing by the same rules as everybody else. Now, if they do it better, that's on them. But as he said, Nick Saban didn't have any problem when he was having the number one class, and and he's getting all the top recruits coming there. That's allowing him to build up his program. Your thoughts on his comments, man? Fair or foul?
Yeah, I think it's extremely foul. Now, I understand what Coach Saban was trying to say, but the way he went about it was wrong. And the term, like Mike said, is called dry snitching. He didn't have to point out Texas A&M. He didn't have to mention Jackson State. But as you mentioned, the situation that he was in, he was trying to warrant more booster money to come in to compete, to have more money for recruiting. So he was trying to put that fear into those big businesses. But when you put that name out there, when you talk about Texas A&M, which is a rivalry, then it's going to cause this reaction that it actually did. So let's be honest. Like you said, it's not against the rules right now. The NIL is perfectly legal. And of course, we always know that college programs are going to tamper the line a little bit. But let's go back to Tua Tagovailoa. Like, he came all the way from Hawaii, his entire family, and this was before the rules. And so for Nick Saban to try to come out like he's holier than thou, that he does everything the right way, cut it out. We all know that's not the case. Now, granted, I know Texas A&M incentivized some of these kids to go there. I mean, it is what it is. They've been doing it. And then also with Jackson State, I know the Travis Hunter situation, that's what everyone's focusing on. Deion says he didn't get an NIL. There was rumors that he got something from.
No. He got an NIL, but not at that amount.
Well, they're trying to say that he didn't now all of a sudden. So I don't know. But there had to be some incentivized. But like I said, that is perfectly legal right now. So I don't understand Nick Saban, why he's trying to personally attack these specific schools besides just to boost the boosters to donate more money. But don't act holier than thou like you doing everything the clean way, because that's never been the case at Alabama.
Toriano, I am a proud graduate of an historically black college university out of Jefferson City, Missouri, Lincoln University.
Blue Tigers.
Yeah, they're Blue Tigers, yeah. And so the thing, the problem that I have, well, one is that sometimes, as Maya Angelou says, when people tell you they are, believe them, and so he was in that setting. He was a little bit too comfortable with his words. Now, people say that, hey, what he said about Jimbo Fisher, you can take that as SEC, blah, 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 internal family fighting. But you went out and you specifically mentioned Jackson State and what have you. And it's like, again, as Mike said, you do commercials with Deion Sanders again. You were and you made comments about it last year or early this year when they signed him or whatever, and you but you didn't really go into it. But the fact that you went into it and the way, let me just say, the way it came off his lips, it didn't sit right with me, because it's like you were trying to imply that a black kid can't go to a black college because he wants to go to a black college, or if he did, it's got to be some nefarious reason as to why they chose Jackson State or FAMU or Southern or Grambling State and didn't decide to come to big old Alabama. Now, mind you, now you get all these kids, and I saw where he says, hey, the amount of contracts or whatever that Alabama players have garnered. Now, I guess at this time in Alabama is like $1.4 billion in the NFL. But again, you seem to have, now last year he bragged about how his quarterback Bryce Young hadn't played it down yet, signed $1 million NIL deal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But now all of a sudden, again, Texas A&M, they do their stuff better than you are currently doing at the moment. They sign 5 to 8 5-star preps or athletes or whatever. You're harboring ill wills about that. But again, you bring in Jackson State, you bring in some of the stuff. I'm feeling a certain kind of way. Your thoughts?
Well, foul. And if it was an NBA playoff basketball game, he would be ejected. That's flagrant.
You might have had hands put on him too.
In the same token, Travis Hunter, the number one recruit that signed with Jackson State, said his family situation hadn't changed.
Yeah.
So where they mill at? That's what he's saying. Like, don't disparage that man's name. Don't disparage Deion's name. Jackson State's program. And honestly, your competition over at Texas A&M. On the other side of that coin, Steve Spurrier said something along the lines of, where's the lie? Okay, that's fine. But you still don't name names. You still don't, because we all know Nick Saban collects 5-star recruits.
Oh, yeah.
Stockpiles them.
Right.
And I believe in the process. I believe in the scheme that he does and developing guys for the NFL. But I don't believe they've always done it above board. You know what I'm saying? They, like you said, Tua's whole family moved from Hawaii, and there's other situations down there in Tuscaloosa. They got big money down there, and some of those boosters. In the SEC, money rules, boosters rules. We know that.
Right.
these 5-star guys ain't just going there. They can go anywhere and still go to the league. They're going there. They're enticed. Now, that hasn't been proven as far as NCAA violations, but we'd be naive to think Nick Saban hands ain't dirty.
Mike, I got a question. How did Jackson State even get mentioned in a room full of rich white men about one player going to one black school?
And it was a player who left the alma mater of the coach he's playing for, you know? And it's like you said last week.
Which had nothing to do with Alabama.
It had nothing to do with it. It had nothing to do with it. And I ain't going to lie. I guarantee you, you know, NIL or no NIL, if Deion Sanders is in my parents' living room, mommy and daddy said, boy, I know where you're going. And can I get an autograph, Deion, before you leave? That's what's happening, all right? And Deion threatens them, man. Here he is over here at a little HBCU school in Jackson, Mississippi, just down the road from Ryan and Tyler, Texas. And he is threatening them. And because he speaks truth. And I just saw the latest article before we came on from Deion. Deion said they need to quit chasing NIL, chase greatness and GPAs.
Yes,
I mean, that's a bumper sticker for life, man. A bumper sticker for life. And think about Deion, we know what Deion's about. Deion has never been in trouble. Nope. He might have done some like throwing that water on McCarver back in his younger day. But he's never done anything that's broken the law. He is true to who he is. And sometimes people who are not, they can't handle truth.
Blake, I know I want to get your thoughts on this as well. I mean, fair or foul, what Nick Saban did, and again, as Mike and Jordan and we've all mentioned, you got the number one kid in Travis Hunter, who is a cornerback. Now, Nick Saban coaches he coaches the defensive backs down in Alabama. Now, who would you rather learn from? The greatest corner of all time, or Nick Saban? Because mind you, now, if you that guy. We tell people all the time the NFL will find you no matter where you're, just like the NBA find Giannis and Luka and all. If you can ball, they will find you. And if you're the number one high school player in the country and you play cornerback and you decide you're going to go to a college that's coached by Deion Sanders, where you know he's going to coach you, why would you fair or foul, man?
So I thought, with regard to the A&M thing, I thought it was a little bit of jealousy because they were number one in the recruiting class. As far as Jackson State goes, I thought that was venom, and I think it speaks highly on how he feels about somebody that he probably wanted getting taken away by Deion Sanders. And what I brought up yesterday on Sports Saturday,
he was initially going to Florida State.
I know.
And that's the part I can't understand.
I think Nick Saban's just jealous because there was no reason to mention Jackson State. What happened was, he mentioned him, and I think it takes a stab at Deion as a coach and as a recruiter. Because one thing I brought up was, look at Deion Sanders, look at everything he's accomplished. He's one of the greatest athletes to ever step on the field, two-sport athlete, went to one of the most historic colleges ever in Miami, one of the greatest teams ever put on the field in Miami.
No, he went to Florida State.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Florida State. Went to Florida State. So he has come from a similar background as different guys. He's trying to build a culture at the HBCU, and he's been at the end of the day, who would you rather play for? And especially as a recruiter, having a lot more intimate knowledge from kids of that background, where they come from, those same communities. Are you going to want to play for one of the greatest ever one of the greatest players ever who's showing interest in you? Or Nick Saban, who you don't really have anything in common with other than, look, we're Alabama.
And again, Jordan and Troy, I'm coming back to you, but Jordan, we look at Alabama. Right. Now, we talk about Alabama being, one of those places that pretty much is, they don't restock, they reload. And so, again, we talked about Bryce Young. He came from modern day in California. Talk about Tua Tagovailoa in Hawaii. There's really nothing, because you're going over flyover country, especially KU, Missouri, to get down to Alabama. It's Alabama, deep south. Mind you now, that's where slavery, Jim Crow, all that was formulated down there. Right. So you're talking about flying over UCLA, USC, mind you, and I'm talking about Bryce Young. You already got the lights and the glamour out there, but you fly over that Texas money, that oil money, to go to Alabama. Can't make it seem like Nick Saban is doing everything above board.
Yeah, I agree. But I think I might stand different from the rest of the pack. I think that Travis Hunter going to Jackson State wasn't for football purposes. He wants to be a trendsetter to put HBCU at a different light. Because if I'm thinking about me personally as a recruit, what's going to be best for me in my NFL future, I'm going to Alabama. I'm going to Florida State. I mean, Florida State is DBU. So, I mean, I know it's Deion Sanders, But there ain't nothing that Deion can teach you that Florida State and Alabama can't teach you. I mean, look at the draft classes they both have put out the last 2 years. But I think where Travis Hunter's coming to situations like I can be the ripple effect for the future. And if he goes to Jackson State and he becomes a number one draft pick or a first round draft pick, there's going to be others that want to follow and probably boost HBCU. So I think what, like Blake was saying, they're threatened by Deion, because that's why Florida State was considering putting Deion as the head coach, just for recruiting purposes. I mean, primetime walks in your room, it's primetime. He's going to be able to sell you. So I think that's the case. I think Travis Hunter really just wanted to go there to put HBCUs at the forefront versus thinking about his NFL future, which you can't knock an 18-year-old kid for doing that.
College football, I agree with that, because I think the year or two before, there was a basketball player, top 5 player that went to Howard University.
Mm-hmm.
I think he only played one game before COVID. Something happened with that. But Toriano, coming back to you, I mean, when you look at it, again, people just forget the history that it was Bear Bryant, I think, that they got the first, that realized that, damn, I got to get some of these black players, because of course, I think they played an HBCU and got the brakes beat off of him. And he was like, we got to go get some of those players. And then that's where we start seeing these Division I colleges start raiding these start raiding these HBCU colleges and football programs and stuff. If you are a 4 or 5 star athlete, and the comments that Nick Saban made this weekend, again, it's not like it's going to go away, because once these teams play each other, especially Texas A&M and Alabama, these comments are going to come back up. They're going to fire back up. But if you are a 4 or 5 star prep and you're looking, because if I remember correctly, they signed, I think, the number 7 player as well, Jackson State, because I think I saw something on Twitter this week. He was a defensive lineman, I think, that's going there as well. If you're a 4 or 5 star prep athlete, are you looking at these HBCUs differently now, thinking that, hey, I can go, as Jordan said, be a transitor, get the cultural knowledge and information and history that you get from an HBCU that you're not going to get from any of these Power White schools or Power 5 schools? Do you think that now with his comments and basically, he's talking about them being bought and paid for, which is essentially what you're asking for your Alabama business people to, hey, we need to pony in more money so we can buy these players, so to speak. But knowing that the talent's going to go where the talent's going to go and the money can go with you, if you're a 4 or 5 star player, how are you looking at Nick Saban's comments, and where are you thinking about going now?
Yeah, something that Deion said in response to all of this on Twitter the other day was about our people, recruiting our people. And, it can be done. The SEC was not known for basketball. They started investing in coaches and investing in resources into the buildings and the training and the programs. And all of a sudden, SEC has become a pretty good basketball conference. Same thing can happen with HBCUs when we're talking about top-notch athletes. The schools have to invest. The alumni, these HBCUs, as you know, there's some successful alumni out here. It's time for them to start putting their money where their mouth is as well. These programs can be built and become attractive place for high school athletes.
Blake, I'm curious, if you are Nick Saban, how do you put the toothpaste back in the tube with these comments?
You can't. It's been squeezed. At this point, you've squeezed it all out, and you've even done the little extra push at the end to try to. You can't put none of that back.
Because he did say he reached out to both Jimbo and Prime. He said, "Well, I couldn't get him on the phone."
Well, I wonder why.
They both said that they don't plan on taking your call.
Or you just run up the score on A&M. That's it.
If they run up the score, because you got that talent now, they all might be starting.
We looked at tickets yesterday. That's already the second most expensive ticket. It's $286 for a nosebleed for that A&M Alabama game.
And A&M beat those guys last year.
But the game this year is going to be in Tuscaloosa, though, right?
It's in Tuscaloosa, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they might run the score. That might be something personal right there, Jordan. Mike, I mean, if you're, look, man, when you look at this, in Jimbo Fisher, now the SEC, they quote unquote reprimanded, they reprimanded both of the coaches, for their comments this week. But I guess the biggest issue that I've had, I know we had this conversation, I think, a couple of weeks ago when it comes to this NIL, is that the coaches that seem to be making the much noise and seem to be harping about this stuff the most all seem to be white coaches. because I remember reading the Notre Dame coach. I think it was on Pro Football Talk last week or the week before. It said, "Hey, it is what it is. You need to get with the program and
stop complaining.
Stop complaining, figure things out." And it seems like the people in that mind now, they want this to be regulated. They want this NIL to be regulated now. The Supreme Court, and to his credit, I forget which one it was, the Republican appointee, but he basically stated that there's free market, and so the only people that seem to want to get this regulated that it affects seem to be 85% black, because we don't hear people complaining about the women basketball players, college pro players, even high school players that are getting NIL deals or whatever, but it's because of the amount of money that these players are getting either via football or basketball, college football or basketball, or even high school. They seem to have a problem with these players making this kind of money. Now, mind you, Nick Saban's making $11.5 million.
Right.
Dabble Sweeney's making $9.5, $10 million. They don't have a problem making money on the backs of these student athletes, but they have a problem with the student athletes making the kind of money that's not only generational money, but damn near competing, but damn near making more money than some of these coaches. Because I know, Mike, you sent me a text yesterday about a player, I think, from Pitt that's transferring to USC that's going to be making more money than Juju Smith-Schuster is this year.
Yeah, well, and let's back up. And maybe that's who Nick's beef should be with, is Lincoln Riley.
Right.
Okay?
That's the real threat.
So Lincoln's cleaning house, man. And let me add another connection to that regarding USC. Here's how the Alabama program was integrated. They played USC, is who they played. And Sam Bam Cunningham just walked all over them in Tuscaloosa. And as I found out earlier this year, Bear Bryant scheduled that game because he felt like he would have an easier time integrating his football team with the likes of a USC with an all-black backfield taking care of business. So that was calculated. And I had never heard that before, but it was calculated. He wanted to integrate, but felt like the state politicians, that's George Wallace era, man, would all be against it. And he felt like the best way, and sports always is the answer when it comes to society stuff. Let's play USC, win or lose. I'm going to roll the dice and hopefully it opens the door for us to start recruiting black athletes. So again, that's that USC thing going on out there. And I think that's where, because Lincoln Riley, he's kind of getting bashed a little bit, but nothing like what's happened here. And I kept waiting for Saban to bring up Lincoln Riley's name, and he did not. And but I think down the road, you're going to see a lot of folks during the football season question how to go about this new NIL stuff. The whole thing is, if you set your program up, take advantage of it with an NIL, like Jimbo Fisher apparently did, you can get these athletes, but you got to be able to understand there's now a level playing field. As someone said, when Nick Saban coached in the NFL, that was a level playing field. And how do you do in the NFL?
1 in 15,
right?
And look, and it's funny because that's what makes me think like, okay, either A, you don't want to coach as hard as you think that you do, or you're afraid of the competition because now you have to coach. Now you have to prove your your bona fides because now Texas A&M got the no recruiting. Again, you got number two. I mean, it's not like that's number 2 out of 300 Division I schools. You're number 2. So again, I've got issues with that to where it's like, man, are you afraid of competition all of a sudden now?
Yeah.
Or I mean, is it gonna make your job? I mean, again, you're being paid a lot, so you probably made. I don't know how long he's been at. He's been at Alabama for a long time, but I've assumed he's made over $100 million and will continue to make because he's making $11 million.
At one point, Nick Saban was the highest paid public employee in America based on his salary.
Oh, wow.
But I don't think he's afraid of competition. I think Nick Saban can coach. I think he can develop.
I think he can coach.
Yeah, I think he can develop talent. But like you said, now it's a level playing field. Or you're gonna get exposed some of those flaws that you got, and these players now have power now.
Right. It's the lack of control.
It's the lack of control that when Jimbo threw the narcissist word around, that hit home a little bit with Nick, because he's he's a control freak.
Oh, yeah.
And now he's losing control. I think that contributes to a lot of what he was saying as well.
And you're also seeing players incentivized to transfer. That's the main game changer right there. So you can have you a top recruiting class and say, well, USC can say, you know what, we'll offer you 1.5 to come over here and play and take from Alabama. And that's what really changes the game.
And then that player doesn't even have to sit out.
Doesn't have to sit out, you know.
Well, and here's the other interesting too, because I said I wasn't going to do it, but my guy Bill Self over at Come
on, man. All right.
No, because I know my guy Chris Tyson. Let's do the show, so I'm gonna choose my words carefully.
Let's cut him off, Mike.
No. I wish you would. I wish, boy, look. No, I said it to say that he believes that players should get paid, but again, he's one of those people that wants regular. But I'm like, but you're getting all these top players out of the transfer portal. You got some of these medals on merit. Now, again, trust me, I asked Josh Jackson, like, bro, Detroit, you come to Kansas. Like, why you come to Lawrence? Of all the schools you could have gone to, you came to Lawrence. Now, mind you, I've seen footage, the locker room and the dorm stuff. I get it. But it's still Lawrence, Kansas. I mean, it's in the middle of Kansas.
Hey.
Oh, Mike, I forgot where you from.
Mike.
Well, you know. It's in the middle of Kansas.
I think one of the deepest cuts for Saban is that he realizes one of the things that's made Alabama so great all these years is depth. They've had a third-string 5-star recruit.
Yeah.
Now they're only going to have a fourth and third string, because that third-string 5-star or fourth and third star, whatever, that fourth-string 5-star recruit can take his butt somewhere else and start instantly. So why would he go sit, for 2 years or 3 years behind somebody at Alabama? So Saban's losing depth, which means he's losing why they're so good, is because they've stacked their box for so long. And I think that's what Jimbo was referring to when you have all the advantages. When you have the advantage of having, the third string quarterback is still a number 4-star recruit in the entire country. You ain't going to have that no more.
Yeah. And of course, the other thing is that too, in football, you have to stay at least 3 years. So I mean, if you're gonna get paid and you got to stick around for 3 years, you at least gonna go to the highest bidder, so to speak. Is that what they're saying?
He also didn't want to face. Sometimes I think you can hoard athletes so you don't have to play against them, and I think that's what Nick Saban was doing.
Yeah. One last thing though, when it comes to regulating this stuff, I actually hope, because I posted, someone made comments about Dems made it harder for people of color. I will say this. I hope the Congressional Black Caucus, if this stuff ever, because I know, the NCAA and the coaches, they've gone up there and tried to petition to Congress, hey, we need help regulating the stuff. I hope they actually utilize their voice and say, no, we actually like the fact that these young black men and women and these young white men and women are getting paid for their services or for their name, image, and likeness, what I'm saying? And hope that they actually, frown upon what they're trying to do and just, put them over to the side or whatever, because at the end of the day, if they allow this to happen, because I think Nick Saban somebody, allowed to do something with their antitrust. I'm like, bro, seriously? I'm like, that's how much you really hurting that you willing for the NCAA to risk the antitrust just so you can recruit better?
It ain't happening.
Well, and why have a regulation? That'd be like regulating somebody. That'd be like saying, Darren, you can't make X amount of money as a radio host. Why? You've earned it. If somebody's going to pay you the money, if somebody's going to pay you the money, though, why should there be a cap on that?
If I say something about that.
Yeah, I was going to say, so in different states around SEC country, Tennessee included, in Missouri, the governor hasn't signed the bill yet, but there are parameters in place legislatively. I don't agree with, I'm like you, Congress has nothing to do with this. I
think Georgia tried to do. I think Georgia might be one of the few states that's actually.
So there's some
done
framework that says coaches can't act as agents or proxies. They can't, make a commission off a kid. And so there's some legal framework in there, and there's some parameters. There has to be some regulation, like with any industry. But as far as these young men and women being able to take advantage of their name, image, and likeness, it's way past time. Like, this is long overdue. And people are flipping out because they're losing institutional control, man.
And remember, kids ain't going back.
Yeah, I was saying, remember Ed O'Bannon, I think was one of the few people from UCLA that brought a lawsuit against him where they got some kind of back pay.
It was wrong.
Ed and Charles. It was about the basketball.
About the video game. That's why they have to been the video game.
Yeah. So I mean, the fact that they're finally able to get some of this money, and it's long overdue. I mean, you think about Eric Dickerson back in the day with SMU. I think a lot of these college programs got the death penalty because of they were giving players money and stuff like that, because that's what they had to do.
They had players on payroll.
Yeah, I mean, literally, well, hold on. How did Shannon say where you build, you give mama a refrigerator, and then the other school builds a house around the refrigerator. It's like that's what you.
Because I've seen it firsthand. I ain't gonna Nick Saban nobody, but I've seen it firsthand how the money gets funneled in. It works. It works.
Well, we're gonna stop because we're gonna stop this conversation.
I was gonna say, ask them KU bag men.
No, Adidas bag men over there. Yeah, better stop for that. Like that. Darren switched it to me, but let's take a quick time. When we come back though, I do want to talk about what the NFL is doing as it relates to something new that they have going on this week that's coming up at their league meetings. Keep it locked into the Ship with Darren Smith right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey everybody, this is Nick Lowry of the Kansas City Chiefs and Canaway Sports, and you're listening to The Ship. Darren Smith on Sports Radio 810 WHB and ESPN Kansas City. And guess what? There's another ship coming down, baby. It's called a championship.
Rawhide Harley needs used bikes. It is giving NADA retail value when trading for a new Harley this week. No matter how much you owe on it, Rawhide Harley will trade anything. Bikes, cars, ATVs, RVs, and more. NADA retail value for your motorcycle. Good credit, bad credit, no credit. At Rawhide Harley, all credit applications considered. Rawhide Harley-Davidson is the #1 volume Harley dealer in Kansas with rates such as 0.99% APR. Retail trade value ends this Sunday. Adjustments made based on conditions and mileage. Any negative trading equity may be applied to new amount financed on a fruit of average credit.
Listen up, sporting fans. Central Bank invites you to join the club with Sporting Checking. Show off your team's spirit at the match or on the go with the official Sporting Debit Card. Score big with access to Central Bank's award-winning mobile app. Plus, enjoy 10% off in-person purchases at the Sporting Style store. So, you ready to join the club? Get started by visiting sportingchecking.com or any of our convenient Central Bank locations. Member FDIC.
Come on, Josh, strike him out. When Josh Bortka tore a ligament in his pitching arm, his college career was at risk. He was referred to the University of Kansas Health System, the official healthcare provider of the Kansas City Royals.
Strike two!
There he received the Royals treatment, and today he's back on the mound.
Strike three! You're out!
Way to go, Josh. See Josh's story at royalstreatment.com.
Kansas City, spring is here. Don't waste your valuable time working outside on your lawn and landscape this year. Hire the professionals at Summit Lawn and Landscape. From mowing and fertilization programs, mulching and shrub trimming, to complete landscaping and sprinkler system design, install, and service, Summit Lawn and Landscape can do it all. Spring is here, so don't delay. Use who Sports Radio 810 uses for all of our outdoor needs. Call Summit Lawn and Landscape at 816-966-9434 or submit a bid request online at summitlawn.com.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Jeff Briggs with Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, home of the Victory Effect. Our pledge to drive down vehicle pricing for the city we love. The Start Something New sales event kicks off 2022, and interest rates remain close to all-time lows, plus trade values are bringing more than ever. It's a great time to buy. We know it's hard to find a replacement, but did you know if you custom order a new vehicle at Victory, you get to play best ball with the factory incentives? That's right. Get an accurate upfront price quote when you order today, and if the rebates are better when the vehicle arrives, the extra savings goes right in your pocket. It's a simple process, and we can show you how easy it is to customize a new vehicle and have it shipped directly to you, complete with your name personalized on the window sticker. And don't forget, if you have a trade, we buy your car at top dollar regardless of if you purchase a new vehicle from us or not. Visit us at Kansas City's only automotive outlet mall, the Legends Auto Plaza, on the southeast corner of 435 and Parallel, just east of Nebraska Furniture Mart, or online at victorymotorskc.com, where our first price is better than their last.
Hey, Kansas City, Stephen St. John here. It's Window Nation's graduation sale. If your old windows are failing or just not making the grade, here's your homework assignment. Call Window Nation. With straight A's from the Better Business Bureau, alongside installing over 1 million windows in over 125,000 homes, they're definitely at the head of the class. Earn your degree in savings now during Window Nation's graduation sale. Get 0% financing for 5 full years. That's simple math. 60 months interest-free. Plus, get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. It's like getting a diploma from Window Nation University. It's the commencement of lower energy bills with the advantages of curb appeal and improved value for your home. Graduate with honors and savings. Get 2 free windows for every 2 you buy with no limit and 0% for 60 months. That's 5 full years, no payments, only with Window Nation. Just call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. 866-90NATION or windownation.com. Window Nation, the perfect fit.
Here at Total Wine & More, you'll find what you love and love what you find, especially our totally low prices.
That rosé you recommended was a hit. What should we try for more fun in the sun this weekend?
This silver tequila makes a refreshing tequila sunrise.
Perfect. Wow, that price is refreshing too.
Find what you love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Pickup and delivery available at TotalWine.com. Drink responsibly, B21.
Listen to Sports Radio 810 WHB for your chance to win tickets to a special private showing of Top Gun Maverick.
His exploits are legendary. His call sign, Maverick.
Brought to you by B&B Theaters. The big screen is back.
I feel the need for speed.
You'll have chances to win 2 free tickets during the Border Patrol, the Zone, and the program. Listen and win with Sports Radio 810 WHB.
This is Real Mike Robb of NFL Network, Super Bowl champion of the Seattle Seahawks. You're listening to The Ship with Darren Smith on Sports Radio 810 WHB and ESPN Kansas City.
Welcome back to the show with Darren Smith right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 810WHB.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Joined once again by Jordan Tucker, Toriano Porter, Michael Coleman, and of course Blake Sneeder's keeping us on the air right now, making sure that nobody knocks us off the air. Give us a call at 913-381-810 if you want to join in on the discussion. Gentlemen, I sent out a text over the last couple of days. The NFL this week, beginning today is the 22nd, so it's beginning tomorrow along with Tuesday, where they have the inaugural NFL coach and front office accelerator program slated for the spring league meeting this week in Atlanta, where more than 60 diverse head coach and general manager candidates from all 32 clubs in the league office will come together for leadership development and networking opportunities. Now, we had a little bit of this discussion between myself, Jordan, and Mike on our show Friday that we recorded. Toriano, I wanted to get your thoughts on this because I'm going to be quite honest with you. When we had this discussion, I felt a little certain kind of way because I'm sitting there thinking, when you talk about come together for leadership development and networking opportunities, I don't think anyone who's on this list has had more interviews, more meetings, is obviously developed as a leader and has networking opportunities than one offensive coordinator for Kansas City Chiefs, Eric Bieniemy. Now, I feel in a certain kind of way. I know some folk are listening, so I would advise them to have Andy Reid prepared to answer my question on Thursday, unless somebody from the other media tries to steal my thunder between now because that usually happens. But Mike, I'll start with you since you're down there first, and then we'll come to Toriano. But Mike, your thoughts on this front office program and whether or not this is more of a sham or is this the league and Goodell really trying to do what's right?
I think the intentions are true. But how come you just can't take somebody out to lunch and have an intimate one-on-one conversation with them and just say, hey, yeah, so what are you about? Talk to me. Why can't you just do that? Because you can't do that with everybody at this particular meeting over a 2-day period, or invite them to come out and play golf with you. I mean, something a bit more thinking out of the box. And that's one thing about the NFL. Player-wise, they think out of the box. But when it comes to management and people skills, they need an upgrade, man. And I just think something like this, it's going to be a waste of time for a majority of those who are invited to do this. And how on board are the owners with this? If they have more important things to do, I would think, considering, that you have to have a meeting like this to begin with. If you took care of business prior to this particular week or those 2 days that are coming up, you wouldn't have to do something like this. It's like when you're making business deals, do you invite all the potential businessmen to work with you at a big dinner? No, you take them out and you visit with them. You get a chance to know what they're about. And I just think, the heart, the intent is pure, but it's just another Rooney Rule, but 2.0.
Toriano, the effort, according to the league, is designed to continue building a diverse hiring pipeline for future head coach and GM positions throughout the league. According to Roger Goodell, he says the NFL is committed to diversity and inclusion, and this program is the latest in a series of steps designed to improve our hiring practices and create opportunities for advancement. But again, at the end of the day, we've always said that it starts with ownership. I mean, there's one minority of color or ethnicity when you look at Shad Khan. I think Martha Benson or there's a Benson over who owns the New Orleans Saints. So there are some minorities as it relates to women, but the people that they hire, the GMs that they hire, don't look like a lot of us. Now, granted, people will say, "Hey, Ryan Pace, he just came from the Chiefs and got the GM position over with the Chicago Bears, but he went and hired somebody else." Keep trying to tell people that whoever they want to hire was going to be hired before, was going to be hired regardless of Ryan Pace as well. And people look, and I still question as to why he didn't bring Eric Bieniemy up there for an interview. That's a conversation for another day. But your thoughts on this accelerator program?
Until offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy and other qualified coaches of color are actually hired and given the chance to perform, it's all a sham to me.
Yeah,
it's all a sham to me. From the Rooney Rule on down, as the coach out of Miami, the former coach Brian Flores, and his lawsuits have shown us, it's all a sham. And I understand the NFL has to do whatever they have to do to put on this performance, but what's good going to come out of that deal if your owners are your owners and they're going to hire who they want to hire? There's no incentive or disincentive for any of these owners to give minority coaches a chance. When they say good old boy network, and this is a fraternity, this coaching, this GM, it's a fraternity, and they recycle some of these guys around, and coaches like Coach Bieniemy are sitting in KC still, almost overqualified, well qualified to be a head coach. Let them sink or swim, give them an opportunity, and so until that happens, I'm not a fan of it.
Jordan, I mean, look, we're expected to speak with the assistant coaches, coordinators on next week. So of course I'll have my question or two for Eric Bieniemy about this. But if you're Eric Bieniemy, obviously you can't say no,
right?
As it relates to, I mean, which is what's frustrating. Like, you can't say no, and the Chiefs want to send you down there when you tell them no. I mean, so one of the issues that I have is that they don't have this in place for Matt Nagy. I mean, when Matt Nagy, was the OC at the Chiefs, his main focus was trying to get a job with the Bears or some other NFL team. Hence, the Chiefs lost, 21-18 or whatever the game was that they lost to the Tennessee Titans in that game. That was the last game before he was announced the head coach of Chicago Bears the very next day. But, there's nothing in place for him to have to go and do the same stuff that Eric Bieniemy. I feel a certain kind of way. I don't really know if I have the right words to say at this particular time, because I might say something that I won't regret, but I'll end up having to apologize for at a later time. But if you're Eric Bieniemy, why should you be one of the face? I know Byron Leftwich, others who have been out there applying, trying to get a head coaching job. Now they're going to, this is the two names that they put out there, ESPN, Eric Bieniemy, Byron Leftwich, among 60 to attend this program. I mean, why should they be doing it?
Yeah, and I think that's the question I would ask if I'm Eric Bieniemy or Byron Leftwich. I played in the NFL. I'm under one of the biggest coaching trees in Andy Reid, who I've done well under, won a Super Bowl. So what more development do I need? We've seen special team coaches just jump and get head coaching jobs. So it's like, what more can a conference really teach me? So I think it's just the NFL trying to put a Band-Aid on an open wound. A big open wound, actually. And it's just they're being reactive versus being proactive. And I feel like this is just pretty much due to the Brian Flores situation. They're just trying to clean up and say, hey, we give coaches these opportunities to do this and do that. But it should be for everybody. Like Kellen Moore for the Dallas Cowboys offensive coordinator. He should be invited as well, because he doesn't have as much credibility as Eric Bieniemy or even Byron Leftwich, which I'll say that as well. So it's just like, it's frustrating because, like Mike just said, it's the Rooney Rule 2.0. But until the owners really commit, nothing is going to change. You just sending me away on an extra vacation to Chicago. Like, I could be doing that, working with my team, getting ready for the off season versus just doing this kind of hush,
which makes me think in terms of locally here in KC, what about Clark Hunt? What about Mark Donovan, the president and owner?
Mm-hmm.
Why not name a succession plan and increase Eric Bieniemy's value by saying he's going to be the next coach of the Chiefs when Andy Reid retires? Because Andy can't coach forever. We know Big Red's going to go, but he can't go forever. I mean, EB said this long, and when you want to have a franchise quarterback to work with, because most of the time when black coaches and minority coaches get these jobs,
they don't have a quarterback.
They don't have a quarterback, and they have a dysfunctional franchise, And so how about the Chiefs do something internally to address the issue?
Right.
That sounds like a good opinion piece that should be in the newspaper. I kind of like that. That's a good idea.
He'll get the type of the night.
Sir, you need to do your research. I wrote that in January.
I know. I'm just saying because somebody might need to bring that back up the next time we get Clark Hunt out there. That's a good one, Mike. Look, the owner of the Atlanta Falcons, Arthur Blank, said that he thinks the accelerator is some of the most important work the league and our committee will do all year because the potential of the program is exponential. It's an unprecedented opportunity of emerging leaders, owners, and team leadership to get to know each other better over these 2 days, and the relationships formed in this setting will be integral to the hire process. Now, to the hire cycle. Now, it has been said that there is to be no quote unquote interviewing, so to speak. Again, I don't if how do you tell a billionaire owner who they can and cannot hire, Mike? And that's that's going to be something again. I mean, I don't know if you're just going to have all the owners, they're just going to be there. And I mean, I don't know if you just have everybody in the same room. I really don't know how this thing is going to go down. And I guess this is a conversation that, or a question that can be posed to Bieniemy on next week is to, how how this looked and stuff like that. But Mike, how do you think this is even going to?
Well, back to the original question of what you just said. How do you get billionaire owners to hire? You don't. You just don't. I mean, I hate to say it, it's all about the heart. What's within you? And you mentioned Clark. Well, we all know Clark's father, Mr. Hunt. He was going out and scouting HBCUs before everybody was. He was that open-minded to bring in the HBCU players. And, these owners today, like Jerry Jones, when he made a transition from Jason Garrett to Mike McCarthy, I think it was Hugh Jackson that got a chance to come visit. I mean, he was going to hire Hugh Jackson.
No, it wasn't Hugh Jackson.
It was Marvin Lewis.
Huh?
It was
Marvin
Lewis.
Okay. Yeah, Marvin Lewis didn't get to spend that at the house. Yeah.
Okay, Marvin Lewis. But that was just a cup of coffee conversation, obviously. And I just when it comes to billionaires, you can't make them do what they don't want to do.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. You just the window dressing is about as far as they're going to go.
Yeah.
I mean, because let's face it, the Rooney family appeared the most pure and genuine owners in this league when it comes to humanity and just being fair to everybody. And who else has been hired since Mike Tomlin because of the Rooney Rule? Have we heard? Has there been?
You talking about this cycle?
Yeah.
I mean, you got the coach in Miami. Of course, he considers himself to be a part of the human race. I don't think he claims his blackness, even though he's mixed descent. You had you got Lovie Smith over in Houston.
Lovie, Vance Joseph,
okay.
right?
And you know what? Lovie should have been the coach in the first place.
Yeah, they were trying to do that.
I know
the Josh guy from the high school coach.
No, they brought in the guy from the Ravens who's been around for a while.
No. You're talking about the coach from last year, but I'm talking about they were going to hire the high school coach who didn't have any NFL. He played quarterback in the NFL.
About the quarterback.
Yeah.
McCown.
Yeah. Yeah, so Josh McCown, so they were looking to hire him, but of course, with the lawsuit and everything, they had Brian Flores as a finalist before settling on Lovie Smith, who they claimed that was being interviewed, but just
Brian
somehow.
Flores he's put a monkey wrench in a lot of their potential plans. I have a hunch.
Yeah, they find they do find a way to screw themselves over or whatever. But
I think they brought that coach in to try to convince Deshaun, hey, he wanted to at least talk to the enemy guys. I mean, and I think they just figured any blackface would do for him, and they were wrong in that assessment.
Well, I think at that time, before Deshaun got unhappy, he wanted them to bring in, again, if trust believe, if Patrick Mahomes has a concern or something that he wants done, the Chiefs are going to listen to him. They're going to take him and they're going to take it under advisement, and they're at least, if nothing else, going to acquiesce to, hey, bring this guy in for an interview. Well, the Texans didn't do that. I mean, he wanted them to bring in Eric Bieniemy and Louis Riddick for interviews for those positions for the GM, and we've seen people speak highly of Louis Riddick, and sooner or later he's going to get his shot. May not be this year, but sooner or later hopefully he'll get his shot along with Eric Bieniemy. But the fact that you spend this money on your quarterback, getting this contract extension, and you don't even do enough to bring in these people for an interview to kind of look, you ain't got to hire, but just bring them in just to show your quarterback that you're listening to, your franchise quarterback. That's a problem. So
it goes back to that control. Like, you don't control everything.
They do. They do control everything. And speaking of Deshaun Watson, we got to have that conversation in the next hour, because this week there's going to be some women speaking on Real Sports, talking about their situation with Deshaun Watson and talking about their contract as well. We're going to talk about that on the other side of the hour. You are tuned in to The Ship with Darren Smith right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We will be back in the next hour with some more sports talk dealing with Deshaun Watson, the NFL, and of course the NBA playoffs. Be right back.
This is Solomon Wilcox of PFF and Sirius XM NFL Radio, and you're listening to The Ship with Darren Smith on Sports Radio 810 WHB and ESPN Kansas City.
Sporting Kansas City's U.S. Open Cup run continues. Sporting is set to host the round of 16 matchup against the Houston Dynamo this Wednesday, May 25th. Be a part of the action at Children's Mercy Park and cheer on the boys in blue as they look to build off their exciting extra time win last match in the U.S. Open Cup. It's Sporting Kansas City against the Houston Dynamo on Wednesday, May 25th at 7:30 p.m. at Children's Mercy Park. Grab your tickets now at sportingkc.com and let's go Sporting.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Brian Pringle with Victory Ford at the Legends in KCK. It's our mission to be the automotive home of drivers in the Kansas City area. We provide a vast selection of new and pre-owned vehicles, exceptional car care, and customer service with a smile. Fantastic customer service doesn't end when the sale does. Our dealership also staffs a fantastic on-site auto service and repair center. Whether you're a first-time buyer or have years of experience, Victory Ford can help you. Stop by at the Legends or online at victoryfordkc.com, where our first price is better than our last.
May is National Grilling Month, so dust off your cooker and fire up the grill for summer. Missing a few items to get your cook started? Well, head over to the Kansas City Barbecue Store, 119th and Strangline in Olathe. You can stock up on all your grilling supplies, name brand cookers, pellets, probes, knives, sauces, rubs, and competition quality meats are always in stock at the Kansas City Barbecue Store. Don't be afraid to go big on the grill this summer. Go see Dan and the team at the Kansas City Barbecue Store today.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and we've come a long way since we opened 15 years ago. A few years ago, we expanded our service department, but now we need more room. So we expanded again with another building to make your buying, service, and detailing experience even better. You're going to love our friendly, fast, and easier way of finding your new car and keeping it in perfect condition with a lifetime warranty. Come see it all or go to LeeSummitSubaru.com and fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Greg here with V's Italiano Ristorante on 40 Highway in Independence, just one exit east of Arrowhead. V's Italiano family-owned restaurant is almost 60 years old, making us one of the oldest and most popular restaurants in Kansas City. Maybe it's our famous baked lasagna, fettuccine alfredo, or ossobuco. No, it has to be the red sauce. Offering dine-in, carry-out, catering, or private dining, go to vsrestaurant.com. And as Mama V always said,
it's a nice place to fall in love. We look forward to serving you soon.
Live play-by-play of the PGA Championship from Southern Hills continues today at 1 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
it's very easy to make bogeys out here. You get yourself just a little bit out of position. Still no easy task coming into the greens, but overall I felt like the course was set up pretty fair.
The key for me is getting in the fairway. I felt like I did that a lot, and hopefully I can do more of the same this weekend.
Follow the PGA Championship on America's largest all-sports radio station, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hi there, Gary Giles with Giles & Jewelry. Everybody knows Giles & Jewelry is the place to buy an engagement ring. Thousands of diamond rings, quality second to nobody. Come on into Giles, 95th and Antioch, right in front of the big high V. Giles & Jewelry, we're the jewelers you'll recommend to your friends and family.
Giles Jewelry for the best that's yet to come.
At Robert Brogdon's Olathe Kia, you can buy with confidence with a 90-day money-back guarantee. Robert Brogdon has a large allocation with the selection of your favorite Kias, like the 2022 Kia Sorento with seating for 7 or the spacious and upscale 2022 Telluride. Plus, it gets better. Add in the Kia 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty plus a 90-day money-back guarantee, and you've got a Brogdon Best Buy. Visit OlatheKia.com or see them today at I-35 in Santa Fe. Customer must register vehicle. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Save big money in your next project with 11% off everything now at Menards. Create a beautiful outdoor space with Menards' great selection of landscape blocks. Whether it's an attractive flower bed, a spacious patio, or a functional retaining wall, we have the perfect blocks for your next build. There's no limit to what you can create with 11% off everything at Menards. Good through May 30th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Rawhide Harley will pay your sales tax promotion on any pre-owned Harley this week only.
Rawhide Harley doesn't intend on paying or avoiding your sales tax, and if you actually think that, we're very curious to know what the hell you're smoking.
Yeah, brah. Sales tax is the amount of your discount on any pre-owned Harley. Rawhide Harley is the #1 volume Harley dealer in Kansas. You don't need perfect credit, don't need a cash down payment, and 100% of credit applications considered. Every pre-owned Harley discounted by your sales tax at Rawhide Harley now through Sunday.
It's Family Leisure's Factory Direct Hot Tub Sale. We have hot tubs coming in every week. No need to wait for months. Come get your dream hot tub today. Family Leisure also has pools in stock for spring installation. Don't go another summer without a pool for your family. Come in and see our huge selection of patio furniture. Family Leisure is your one-stop shop for pool tables, shuffleboard, bar stools, and home theater seating. All priced to go. Mention 810 and save more at Family Leisure in Olathe.
913-888-7727. Awesome.
The 30th annual ESPY Awards are coming in July to help honor Kansas City's outstanding players and coaches in our community. You can make a nomination now at 810WHB.com or go to the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page to fill out the submission form. See the official rules and categories and earn extra nominations by sharing your nominee stories using the hashtag 810ESPYs. The honorary ESPYs are back. Make your nominations today.
Flu season is still active, and you can fend off the flu with 5 easy action items. Start with avoiding close contact with sick people and stay at home if you are sick. Secondly, wash your hands frequently for 20 seconds at a time. Thirdly, remember to cover your coughs or sneezes. Also, avoid touching your eyes, nose, and your mouth. And the #1 action item, get your flu shot. This message brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Anthem Foundation.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Kansas City's hometown sports station, Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
This is Jerome Bettis, formerly of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you're listening to The Ship with Darren Smith on Sports Radio 810 WHB and ESPN Kansas City.
I don't know what this world is coming to.
All right, I like that. All right, welcome back to The Ship here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 810WHB.com, Facebook, Twitter, YT. It's short for YouTube. Just for, the millennials.
I see you little social media slang.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Hey, I stay with the program. I ain't to get off my lawn type yet, man. Not yet. Look, before we get to, we were talking about Deshaun Watson coming in on this break, but Tiger Woods withdrew yesterday from the PGA Championship after posting his worst score in the event. Shot 9 over 79. Of course, going into after making the cut, I think he was 2 under. On Friday. Obviously, I think his leg stuff is hurting, but shot 9 over 79. No worse than what I shoot on my Oculus when I'm playing my Golf Plus. But any thoughts on his performance so far? I mean, mind you now, coming back from the accident that he had last year, could have taken his life. He'd already been having surgery and stuff on his back and his legs and stuff. And the fact that he's out here in the majors, made 2 cuts, mind you, in the Masters and the PGA Championship. Should he just rest the rest of it, or do you kind of like what he's doing, where he's kind of gauging what he's able to do, and if he's put on that bad of a showing like he did on yesterday?
It's hard from Tiger Woods' standpoint because we all know he's a competitor, but he's not the Tiger that we were accustomed to seeing. So, me personally, I would like to see him rest because what he's been doing recently, it just ain't the standard that we know Tiger Woods to. But I just don't think he's going to lay down. So I think he's going to want to be out there and still try to compete, but. I don't know, man. It was bad, like you said. It's just, I just don't understand what he can really do besides rest. I mean, like you said, it was a horrific car crash. He even survived it, was saying enough. So,
I mean, he made 5 consecutive bogeys. And now, mind you, now, again, I put myself, and I compare myself to Tiger Woods, but but that Oculus, hey, it make me feel a certain kind of way because me and my brother played it last week, and I was horrible on it, man. And I'm like swinging, and I keep thinking I'm hooking, so I'm trying to restart the round and stuff, try give myself a little advantage. Nah, it wasn't working, man. But Toriano, what do you think about Tiger's performance?
As an athlete, as a competitor, I'm rooting for Tiger Woods, man. He's one of the great golfers of all time, but like Mr. Tucker said, it might be time for Tiger to sit down for a minute. You as an athlete, you don't want to disgrace your legacy. You don't want to harm your legacy in any kind of way. If you're not physically able to compete at the level that you're accustomed to competing, you can't adjust to what your body allows now, and maybe rest is the best place. That's what I was saying.
Mike, this probably should have been a conversation we should have brought Steve Walls in, since he likes to play golf from time to time. But your thoughts on Tiger Woods and his 9 over 79 withdrawal from the PGA Championship after 3 rounds?
Well, the only thing sad about it is we all saw Tiger as a young pup and just take over. And then when you realize where he is at this point of his career, we're a whole lot older now than we were then. That's one thing. But he kind of reminds me of Muhammad Ali, man. I mean, I wish Ali had – there are 2 opportunities I thought Ali should have quit fighting. When he beat Joe Frazier at number 3, but he kept on fighting. Then he beat George. Oh, now you got to quit now. But he couldn't. And then Larry Holmes did him the way he did him, and then he lost another fight after that. And, someone, I think it was Howard Cosell, said, athletes are the last ones to know they just don't anymore. And Tiger's still a relatively young guy. I mean, life is going to be great for him. But I think if nothing else, he's trying to prove to himself. I don't think he gives a darn about everybody else. He's trying to prove to himself of what he can and can't do. The greatness of Tiger is his ability and his determination, and that's what got him to where he is. And now he's got to know how to taper it off, how to tone it down. And I don't know if he knows how to right now. I think if his father was still around, I think it's possible to say, let's shut it down for now and relax a little bit, So, maybe his kids will tell him that. But I'm a Tiger guy through and through, and whatever it is he does, I'm going to sit and watch. Even though he might not, even though he may not supposed to be there, I'm going to sit and watch. The whole time saying, man, you ain't supposed to be there, but I'm going to be watching. That's just Tiger, man.
Blake, when you're as great as an athlete as Tiger Woods was, winning the way he was, it's hard because, one, your ego, I mean, it's something that, again, the fact that he was able to come back and do what he did in the Masters and then, even get to this point, his ego and his mind is telling him one thing while his body might be trying to tell him something else. How do you balance between those two?
I think it's hard when you're not just a great athlete, you're one of the greatest athletes to have ever played that sport. So your ego is here. And like you said, your body right now is not keeping up with your ego. So I think, like Jordan said, at this point, he doesn't care about everybody else. He's trying to prove it to himself. And I don't know if we'll ever see Tiger. He definitely needs rest, but at what, how much longer, how much rest is going to help in the end of the day? How much is it really going to get him
out there and practice?
Exactly.
Still got to get out there and shoot. He's still got to, and he's still going to want to compete. So it's like,
how much is it going to help? I mean, we're never going to see Tiger at that peak. And I hate to say this because I loved watching Tiger Woods growing up. I'm a big golfer as well. So he literally, I mean, when he's on, golf is just better. Right. Across the board.
Yeah, because I'm not watching this. I'm not watching it. I'm not watching it today.
I was thinking to get a red Tiger.
But I think I don't know if we'll ever see him capture that number one spot. I don't know if we're going to see him get a win in a true PGA Tour fashion. So, and that's so tough to say because it's Tiger freaking Woods, man.
I can't lie though, man. I mean, I think he'll win again, but here's the thing. I mean, he's got nothing but time.
Right.
I mean, so even if you rest, what's he going to do when he's resting? Just lay in the bed?
Right.
Because if you just lay down and you lay in the bed, you're going to get fat. So, I mean, then we're going to be looking at the great white height when the dude comes out, Damon Wayans, and opens up his robe and he's got a gut. Right. So, I mean, for me, I can't see him really. I mean, how do you take time off if all you're doing is just golfing, which you could just do leisurely, Right. I mean, hell, Charles Barkley is a golfer. So, I mean, if you're Tiger, I mean, granted, you might think, okay, I'm not going to go out and golf competitively and may not do something until the U.S. Open or something later on this summer. But if you're Tiger Woods, really, how do you, what's the definition of resting when you're a golfer?
Right. Because the only rest would be is getting away from the game, which he's never going to do. So that's all he knows.
Right.
So it's just like, it's not like he's playing in the NBA or NFL. Like you say, he can still work on his golf swing, even if it's hurt a little bit. So, yeah, I don't know. My guy, Boss Cowboy, says that he thinks he's going to continue to play. And like Blake said, it's that ego because I'm half the athlete of Tiger Woods, and I still got that ego. You know what I'm saying? You say, hey, let's go to the basketball court right now. I'm like, let's go run it, But it's
funny, man. I keep thinking about, last time I had Gates, and I'm like, man, if there was a rib eating contest and Gates was involved, I know the competitive fire of me would be like, I wish one of the Chiefs draft pick, George Karlofsky or whatever, wish he would line up against me. I'd take his ass out. You know what I'm saying?
You take George Karl and win?
You put a slap at Gates? Oh, hell yeah. I beat him, man, please. I told him not to his face.
Okay.
I'm like, man, you put a slap against between me and him. Who you think gonna come out on top? You really? Please.
You ain't gonna be up the next day.
You say what?
You ain't gonna be up the next day.
I might not be up the next day because I'm gonna be full off that slab. But between me and George, I'll take me 10 out of 10 times on that one. No doubt.
Set that up.
Huh?
I gotta set that up.
Set it up.
Set
it up. I'll knock it down. Knock him down.
We can
too.
live stream it on the YT and
Hey, first George Karlaftis.
Hey, I tell you one thing. Ribs. One person who's not going to be excited about things being knocked down this week is going to be Deshaun Watson. Tuesday night, if HBO Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel doesn't deliver its highest ratings ever, I'm not sure what it's going to do this week. Soledad O'Brien is going to be leading the interview, and I believe it's a taped interview. I don't think that it's live.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be taped. Be taped.
So it's going to include interviews with several of the women accusing Deshaun Watson of sexual misconduct, of the 22 women, sexual misconduct during massage therapy sessions. Now, Deshaun Watson's lawyer, Rusty Hardin, and we had a little bit of this conversation on Friday, said he doesn't have high expectations for the finished product. He says he doesn't know what it's going to be like, but he's not optimistic, and that's comments that he gave to Mary Kay Cabot of the Cleveland Plain Dealer. Knowing that Rusty Hardin's not going to be a part of this, Deshaun Watson's not going to be a part of it. You're basically going to get one side of a story. His biggest thing is that you're not going to look at, behind and see what kind of merit do these women have, so to speak. So I know he's going to try to do the public crisis stuff and the media stuff, which they've been losing ever since all this stuff started. But Mike, I'll start with you first. I mean, if you're Deshaun Watson, what do you he's coming back from the Bahamas with his teammates, his lawyer, and he said that they don't plan on doing any type of settlement. How are you thinking you're going to look come Wednesday morning when Undisputed and First Take and all these shows are going to be highlighting what these women are saying? Imagine that you just got through meeting 3 days this week with the NFL and their investigation team, and they want to meet back with you, and they're definitely going to want to meet back with you after what comes out Tuesday night on HBO Real Sports.
Well, I don't think they're going to say anything that the police have not already heard. You know, I mean, I think if you're in the law enforcement, you've been dealing with these young women, there's nothing new that's going to be heard in the Bryant Gumbel show. Now, it may be new to us as viewers, but if I'm Deshaun Watson, and the management of the Browns have had access to what these ladies have said, at the end of the day, I still got a $230 million guaranteed contract. You know, public opinion, okay, but it's Cleveland. They always have public opinion. And so I just think this is, like you said, if there's not high ratings for this, that's going to be it's going to be a shrug your shoulder kind of moment, I think. This is an opportunity for them to speak to the media. You know, I don't know why they hadn't beforehand. I mean, I think I'll guarantee you media, well, they probably got paid too. Because I would say, I bet you Houston media has tried like crazy to get some of these women on their cameras, but weren't able to. National program, sure. But I think it's going to be much ado about nothing. Because I think the NFL is going to already be informed, and the police are already informed. The audience, that's who's going to be new to the information that's going to come out.
Toriano, as a member of the media, as you and I both are, when you look at this again, Mike brought up a good point, which I really hadn't thought about. I think there may have been a couple of initially, Mike, that might have been on camera when these lawsuits first was announced. But now, for the most part, America will get a chance to see the faces of some of these women who are making these accusations against Deshaun Watson. Now, that's a lot different than, of course, press releases and lawyers coming out doing something. From a media perspective, and I guess from a PR perspective, if you're a fan, or you're just someone who's going to be watching this for the first time and listening to these women's stories, how do you think that's going to skewer, or kind of, I guess, kind of skew your perception or your opinion of Deshaun Watson?
Absolutely. When you start talking about the court of public opinion, it matters. Legally, it doesn't, and I think that's the big deal. If there was evidence that a crime was committed, with all these allegations, I really feel like Deshaun Watson would be on trial right now. Not to say I don't believe these women, not to say I know any insight about the case, but legally, if there was evidence, at least a sliver of evidence, he would have been indicted by now and faced some kind of criminal charges. With that being said, I'm looking forward to tuning in, because as we've learned in the past, you have to believe victims. You have to. Whether it's R. Kelly or Harvey Weinstein or whoever else, when you start ignoring the cries and pleas of sexual assault victims, you're doing them a disservice as well. But, you know, this is going to be an interesting case to see how TV show to see how it unfolds.
Jordan, when be careful. You say sexual misconduct versus assault because there were, because even his lawyer said that yes, some of the massage stuff did turn into sexual encounters, but he says they were consensual. Now again, it's going to be interesting because I am going to want to hear it. I'm going to have to turn away from the NBA playoffs and watch this when it happens. But your thoughts on this, man? Because at the end of the day, for me, it's like, I thought that we lived in a country where you're innocent until proven guilty, not guilty until proven innocent, because to Toriano's point, 2 grand juries got a chance to look at the evidence and said there's nothing there. Now, civilly, we'll have to see where things unfold, but there was not enough there for them to, and those saying that you can indict a ham sandwich or whatever, the fact that they decided not to. And
that's in Texas.
Yeah,
in Texas. Okay,
Harris County, if I'm not mistaken. And if y'all don't know about Harris County, boy.
Yeah, I think there's two things. I think legally Deshaun Watson has been cleared, but like you said, the court of public opinion, it's going to be accelerated and be a lot louder after this interview goes, because as we spoke about with the NFL, they're always proactive versus reactive. So once you see these girls' faces, you hear their
now they're reactive. I mean, they're
going to be reactive. Yeah. So I feel like once the court of public opinion really spirals out of control, like you mentioned, it's going to be on every media network. They are going to want to get on top of it. So I think that Deshaun Watson will get suspended. How many games will that be? We talked about it on Friday. I think it should be 6 minimum based off of history. But I feel like when you hear Deshaun Watson's story about how he kind of knew what was going on, he was putting himself in bad situations. He wanted to keep it private from his girl. Like, it just doesn't sound like he was going after these, and it turned consensual sexual for some of them versus the others. And so it really puts him in a bad situation. Then he came out the other day and said that one of the girls cried after. It's just going to be a bad look. So I think that legally he'll be cleared, but as far as the NFL is concerned, there has to be some suspension. I don't care what comes out of it. He has to be suspended.
Well, this is now I don't say this with me and Tuck disagree, because here's my deal on that is that he didn't have sex with all of them. That's first of all, because what you said was just now was that some if it wasn't consensual, then it's rape, and so so. We gotta be mindful of that because it wasn't rape. So so perhaps again, like you said, stuff touch or whatever. Gooey. I will say this, and this is a conversation you and I had, Tuck, when it came to like Ezekiel Elliott. Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem, and Mike, you can comment on this. I don't have a problem with Deshaun feeling like if he feel like he did nothing wrong and he's willing to go as far out to whatever to fight that fight. The only problem I have is that if the league is suspending him based off of just PR purposes, that's the problem I have. Now look, I don't mind him being suspended for being dumb, because that's what I told you. That's why Ezekiel Elliott got suspended, because again, he wasn't criminally or civil with the situation that I said, and I told you Friday, I felt he got suspended for pulling that girl's top down on St. Patrick's.
But that was consensual.
That wasn't consensual.
He went to St. Patty's with those girls and left with them. Hold on.
Again, going there with them is one thing. You exposing the girl's tatas when she wasn't even expecting. She hurries up and does that. No, she didn't. Jordan. Don't try to clear Jordan.
I'm just saying. She never filed a complaint about that.
Hold on. It wasn't a matter of filing a complaint, Jordan. Again, let's see. This is where we go.
All right.
Jordan, listen for a second. You are at the time being investigated by the NFL. Okay, so you don't know what's happening because they're in the middle of an investigation. Now, a little bit later on, the investigator said that there was nothing there, because we talked about that, and felt that he shouldn't have been, nothing should happen.
Right.
But the problem is that during that time frame, again, was the time, mind you, he's in the middle of an investigation. You go out and do something stupid that magnifies what you did, what you're being accused of. Totally separate, different person. But you, on a St. Patty's Day where people just live stream, blah, 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 you just out of nowhere just, take a woman's top off and flash her. How you think that's supposed to look, Jordan? So what I'm saying is Deshaun Watson, you got a girlfriend. You got a massage therapist or whoever in Houston. You decide to go on IG in the DMs or whatever to bring women in. Now, granted, initially, as we talked about, so it still don't have to be said. Now, you might be trying to get something else, but if these women are under the impression that you're trying to get a massage and then it leads to something else, if they're not cool with it, then they're not cool with it. But if they're cool with it, okay, it is what it is. But the thing is, you put yourself in a situation when you didn't have to.
Right.
That's the stupidity. That's what you get suspended for.
But should he get suspended for being a creep?
Because there's more evidence warranted. There's more evidence warranted versus Deshaun than Ezekiel Elliott's case. They hired a private investigator to interview the girl, and they showed the character flaws in her story, and he was still suspended for 6 games. Versus,
I agree with that. No, look, in totality, he was suspended for that. But I'm saying that if he doesn't do the whole,
then he doesn't get suspended.
I don't even think he gets 6 games. But I'm saying he got suspended for stupidity. Putting hold on. You're
Also
under
technically
investigation for some type of sexual assault, whatever, and then you go out and you publicly just pull a woman's top down. Like, this ain't Girls Gone Wild, bro. Like,
because technically you then made her engage in public nudity, which then could have been something like it. That is just such a gray area.
It outwarrants what Ezekiel's stupidity was.
I mean, I'm not going
to. It easily does.
I mean, I'm not going to go the biblical route where one sin is greater than the other. But I'm saying, but stupidity is stupidity.
Right. So if we're going to suspend for stupidity, then Deshaun Watson deserves suspension just off of his stupidity as well.
Said that part.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I said. No, but I'm saying, but again, we're not saying that. I'm saying if he's going to be suspended for anything, it's for stupidity, for putting yourself in a situation, not for the quote unquote accusation. Because I think that's a he said, she said, and legally, it's again, you fall into the Ben Roethlisberger, Ezekiel Elliott part, but Ezekiel Elliott, again, I don't think he gets suspended if he doesn't do the whole, pulling the woman's top down, because again, you kind of magnify like the ignorance of, bro, are you really serious? Like, you in the middle of this stuff, and this is what you go do when the NFL is, and Jerry Jones is out here fighting on your behalf, and this is what you do to embarrass him and what he's doing. Deshaun's whole thing is, again, like, everybody's thinking like, the money that you got, you can do whatever you want without having to do what you did to get what you want. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you put yourself in a situation where you could have faced some criminal stuff, and you got fortunate enough for that. But now, again, and you could have settled the stuff, dealt with a suspension, and been done and through with it. But instead, now again, you're gonna fight till your last breath on it. Again, that's fine. You can do that. But I'm saying, but when the suspension comes, I just wanted to be. I would rather it be more so because of quote unquote evidence. Because again, the NFL is not going to get any more evidence than what the police or the lawyers or anybody going to get. I mean, they don't have that type of legal, authority or whatever, but they're going to suspend them because of, PR purposes, and it makes them be able to sleep well at night. Right. But it's not like he's going to really hurt it.
Yeah, I was going to say, Houston held him out all last year. Isn't that punishment enough?
No, because they say he got paid $10 million.
I do think, real quick, you made a very good point that I think needs to be brushed back over, is the fact that we live in a society where the rule is you are innocent until proven guilty, and the civil case will remain, whatever comes about that, then the NFL can do with that with what they wish. But because of the state of social media and even actual media, how they like to spin things now, that they'll get ahead of the story and put everything out there, and then you're publicly condemned. Now, granted, we don't know the inner workings of what happened, whether these women are 100% honest, half of them honest, all of them lying. We don't know. And that's what the civil case will hopefully bring to light. But I think that it is crazy that we live in a society now where you are judged instantly and proven guilty by society before there is any evidence against you. And that, I think, is what we really need to get back to and focus on. Is there actual evidence, and what does that evidence say?
Tuck, I don't know. Well, Mike, I'm going to ask you, because you being in TV, and of course, most of us in sports, the problem I have, especially when the two grand juries decided that they weren't going to indict Deshaun Watson, there was a lot of people on social media, a lot of sports people, play that whole high and mighty thing. And then, of course, when he signed that contract, that's where they were really freaking out at, is the fact that not only did he not get criminally indicted, but he got a $230 million guaranteed, fully guaranteed contract. I think that's where a lot of people are really being, getting into the feelings about, which is why they want the NFL to follow in the footsteps of Major League Baseball. I'm telling you now, with the Bauer guy, he got 2 years. He's appealing it. They're saying, he's proclaiming his innocence.
Very similar case, actually.
No, I don't know if they're similar, because I think his was more so on the rapist side.
No. There is long history text messages with it. Basically, we can get down that road. No. Basically, it was a request on behalf of the woman, who then wanted to turn around and said she did not request it, but there is a litany of information. And the MLB said, we don't like that it even became an issue, so we're going to suspend you, and that's why he's appealing. And he's like, I have the text message to prove I did exactly what she said. It just happened to be,
right
on that kinky side.
Be careful out there,
boy. Especially when you're in the limelight.
Yeah,
you
gotta know that. Like you said, in situations he was going to some of these girls' mama's house. Like, you Deshaun Watson, like you face of the NFL almost. Like, why are you putting yourself in that situation? Like,
well, and I'd be real interested in knowing how many of them were repeat visitors or whatever the case might be. I mean, did you go more than once? Or how often did you go back when he called? And, you know, and also in this circle of massage therapists, I use the term loosely, did they know each other? I mean, they had to have known, one girl had to know another girl. Say, hey, when you went to Deshaun, did X, Y, and Z go? I don't know. I just think, you know, those are the questions I hope Soledad O'Brien, who's doing the interview on the Bryant Gumbel program, Real Sport, those are the things, those are the facts that I want to get to. I want to hear about, and let's see if they're able to cover those points.
I will say this Tuesday night is going to be a night. Again, I know probably the five of us are going to sit back and watch that. And, you know, and look, I'm not one to proclaim someone's guilt or innocence because, again, that's, you know, I got enough. I'm going to be judged for with my time when this earth is done. But, you know, but I also want to make sure that we don't rush to guilt or rush to innocence just because, you know, of how we may feel. Look, I love Deshaun. I like Deshaun Watson. You know, I thought, you know, I'll be first say I thought initially Kansas City should have taken him over most because I didn't know enough about Mahomes. But I've heard that before. Yeah, yeah,
he did. He did. I'm
oh yeah, he was a big Watson guy. We had a whole conversation.
Hey, I said I saw what Deshaun Watson did against Alabama, 2 national titles or whatever. I know what that man can do, and he was someone.
He helped the Chiefs win a Super Bowl anyways because he blew that lead.
Huh?
I said he helped the Chiefs win a Super Bowl anyway because he blew that lead.
Well, he had Bill O'Brien as the head coach. I mean,
Bill O'Brien can get a job at Eric by any means.
Right? Yeah.
Development.
Put like this. Give Bill O'Brien practice Mahomes. I bet you they still blow that lead.
hey, that's Tamba's guy though. Last week, Tamba was all on Bill O'Brien, one of the best coaches ever.
Well, that was his coach too.
I know.
Yeah. Shout out to Tom Ali. But look, again, Tuesday night's going to be an interesting night to say the least, and we'll definitely talk about that next week. But in the meantime, I'm going to take a quick time out, come back, talk some NBA playoffs. I mean, there's a I think the last 2 nights, because people were really concerned about these blowouts, so to speak. And yesterday tended that way, ended up not being that way, could end up being that way at the end. And of course, we got Game 4 coming up today. Actually, Game 3 coming up today between the Dallas Mavericks and the Golden State Warriors. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. Keep it locked into the Ship with Darren Smith right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey, this is UFC President Dana White, and you're listening to The Ship with Darren Smith on Sports Radio 810, WHB, and ESPN Kansas City.
Listen up, sporting fans. Central Bank invites you to join the club with Sporting Checking. Show off your team's spirit at the match or on the go with the official Sporting Debit Card. Score big with access to Central Bank's award-winning mobile app. Plus, enjoy 10% off in-person purchases at the Sporting Style store. So, you ready to join the club? Get started by visiting sportingchecking.com or any of our convenient Central Bank locations. Member FDIC.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and we've come a long way since we opened 15 years ago. A few years ago, we expanded our service department, but now we need more room. So we expanded again with another building to make your buying, service, and detailing experience even better. You're going to love our friendly, fast, and easier way of finding your new car and keeping it in perfect condition with a lifetime warranty. Come see it all or go to LeeSummitSubaru.com and fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Greg here with V's Italiano Ristorante on 40 Highway in Independence, just 1 exit east of Arrowhead. V's Italiano family-owned restaurant is almost 60 years old, making us one of the oldest and most popular restaurants in Kansas City. Maybe it's our famous baked lasagna, fettuccine alfredo, or ossobuco. No, it has to be the red sauce. Offering dine-in, carry-out, catering, or private dining, go to vsrestaurant.com. And as Mama V always said,
it's a nice place to fall in love. We look forward to serving you soon.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's the 29th annual CarStar Mocan Charity Golf Event on Thursday, June 16th at Adams Point Golf Club in Blue Springs, supporting the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Visit your local CarStar today to get your foursome registered or call Lisa at 913-685-2886. Enjoy a great day on the course supporting the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. It's the 29th annual CarStar Mocan Charity Golf Event, June 16th at Adams Point Golf Club in Blue Springs. Sign up at your local CarStar today.
The playoffs on ESPN Radio.
Super comfortable on the stage. I'm enjoying every bit of this.
Curry shoots the three and knocks it home.
This dude is something so different.
Dribbles to his left, shoots for three, and hits again. Luka Doncic.
Live coverage of the Western Conference Finals continues tonight at 8 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Brian Pringle with Victory Ford at the Legends in KCK. It's our mission to be the automotive home of drivers in the Kansas City area. We provide a vast selection of new and pre-owned vehicles, exceptional car care, and customer service with a smile. Fantastic customer service doesn't end when the sale does. Our dealership also staffs a fantastic on-site auto service and repair center. Whether you're a first-time buyer or have years of experience, Victory Ford can help you. Stop by at the Legends or online at victoryfordkc.com, where our first price is better than our last.
Swim, bike, run. It's time for the Matt Mason Memorial Cowboy Up Triathlon August 7th at Smithville Lake. If you've ever thought about doing a triathlon, then this is the event for you. It's the most patriotic triathlon in the Midwest and a great way to test yourself on a relatively easy course. Don't want to swim? Put a team together and make your buddy do the swim. It's the Matt Mason Memorial Cowboy Up Triathlon August 7th at Smithville Lake. Go to cowboyuptriathlon.com and register today.
You're the one everyone looks to for answers. Come rain or shine, the job must get done, and you're the one who makes it happen. We get you, Jackie in Fresno, putting your employee safety first. And Maddie in Chattanooga, whose local Granger team knows him by name. We're here for you and all the ones who get it done, with 24/7 customer support and access to product specialists to help you find what you need. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
The 30th annual ESPY Awards are coming in July to help honor Kansas City's outstanding players and coaches in our community. You can make a nomination now at 810WHB.com or go to the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page to fill out the submission form. See the official rules and categories and earn extra nominations by sharing your nominee stories using the hashtag 810ESPYs. The honorary ESPYs are back. Make your nominations today.
This is Lee Steinberg of Steinberg Sports, and you're listening to The Ship with Darren Smith on Sports Radio 810, WHB, and ESPN Kansas City.
Sorry, can never go wrong with Snoop Dogg. Darren Smith here with you, The Ship with Darren Smith on Sports Radio 810 WHB. 810WHB.com, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live. We are in the building on this Sunday morning. Darren Smith, Michael Coleman, Jordan Tucker, Toriano Porter. My guy Blake Schneiders with the 1s and 2s on the back. Gentlemen, NBA playoffs. Mm-hmm. I've got to get your initial thoughts on the playoffs so far. I know we coming up on game 3 today between Golden State and Dallas. Should have been a split. Right. I know you're kind of rooting for Dallas. I thought after Friday night it's going to go at least 5 games. It can still be swept. Last night the Miami Heat survived Jimmy Butler's exit, turned a gutsy win over Boston. That game 109-103. They now lead 2-1 over the Boston Celtics. Mike, I start with you. Your thoughts on the NBA playoffs as far, and your initial thoughts on today's game or tonight between the Golden State Warriors, who traveled to Dallas to take on the Mavericks.
Let's talk about that game first. They shot 21 threes and made them the third most in playoff history, but it didn't do them any good. I mean, Jalen Brunson, the guy can play, and I'd always maintained if you get him involved, then you're going to have the Mavericks are going to do very well. I tell you what, I think people have been sleeping on the Warriors. They're getting older, yes, they are, but in the process, they've developed younger players too. We forget that. Wiggins. I mean, I can't say enough about his defense on Luka and how he's played, and he gives them like an average of 17 points a game. And I'm glad he has found a home where he is used and he is useful, because I thought he was going to be a journeyman. But I think he's found a home. I think he's going to be there for a while for some key years for them. Jason Kidd said it best. He did not like the shot selection his guys took. And what you take away, and it was brought out, and Kenny Smith, who I think is great on that TNT show, he made some good points. And one of the points that really stood out was the fact that the Mavericks, when they're making threes, they're clicking, but when they're not making them, they're not trying to go for two. And that, right? I mean, they forgot, you can shoot a 2-pointer, right?
Facts.
But the Warriors were cognizant of that. They had a couple opportunities where they could have shot a three from that corner. They said, now I'm going to drive and go to the hole, and that's what they did and got that too. And I think that shows the acumen of them, of their ability to switch up in mid-game. And so I'm anxious about tonight's game. I think Dallas gets it tonight because they're at home. I think they get it tonight because they're at home. And I've been saying Dallas is going to win this particular series. I'm wavering a little bit because
it's too.
I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to stick to what I said. I never change my mind. I'll stick to it. But the Warriors, they are one heck of a team. And the thing about them, they find different ways to win. And that darn Draymond Green, shut your mouth, dude. You talk too much. They're letting you get away with enough stuff. Don't be yapping at those guys. But that's his game. That's his game.
Toriano, look, man. Hold on before we go further. Mike, you want a better slab of ribs that didn't work out well for you at Gates?
I'm okay. I'll find another reason to bet you for a slab of ribs.
Okay. I was trying to see if I could walk you into something, but Toriano, I mean, look, Mike makes a good point in one, and Draymond Green just drives me crazy to an extent. Luka does too, because it seems like they whine after every freaking foul call. But your impressions of this NBA conference finals matchup so far between these four teams?
Golden State, like Mike was saying, Golden State is a perennial, and for them to have Clay back and to see Steph playing the way he's playing has been phenomenal. I once watched Joel Embiid and Andrew Wiggins play down at the Sprint Center once, and I was always impressed with JoJo. I was never really a big Wiggins fan, even though he had a really explosive second jump. But I'm really glad to see him have some success,
I am too. I'll be honest. I was hard on him, I think, a year or two ago. I was so hard on that Greg Gurley got on me because I was pissed because Andrew Wiggins messed up one of my parlays and I was pissed. And
this is why I don't gamble.
I was hot. He was. I was like, hold on. I said, Self can recruit, but damn, these players can't play. So he can't develop NBA players. But look, to your point, I'm very happy that he's able to. He's able to find a home, and not only that, Steve Kerr able to put him in a situation where he can excel. And look, to your point, when Klay Thompson and Steph Curry were injured, over the last 2 years, you got a chance to see Andrew Wiggins kind of develop his game more, but within that offense, and then with those players coming back, and also we seeing Jordan Poole and the other young player come up, with that mix of young youthfulness along with some of the vets like that gives them a recipe for. And if you look at it, kind of mirrors what Kansas City's doing with all these young rookies and stuff coming in that's going to be able to merge with the veterans. You get a chance, one that NBA is different, but you get a chance with these players on some of these rookie contracts and your veteran players who's on these max contracts, and then they're able to develop stuff. And don't forget, they got James Watston, even though he's not coming back this season, he'll be there next season. Hopefully, he'll put some weight on because they do need some size to go down there along with Draymond Green. But they've got a nucleus that if they can stay healthy, they can run back some more NBA finals. And so, Jordan, I want to get your take.
And I think when a lot of people think about Golden State, they think about Clay, Draymond, and Steph. But when they were winning championships, the key piece was Andre Iguodala. And I feel like that's the void that Andrew Wiggins is starting to fill in right now, especially in the series.
Point.
So, I love my Mavericks, but I feel like they're on the ropes right now. And it's because They came out and got blown out in game 1. Game 2, they hit the Warriors with their best shot, and the Warriors didn't bleed. So it's like now, like,
but again, that was more than them because kids said, I mean, they literally died by the 3. Like they shot 40, but they were 21 to 45. So it wasn't like they didn't shoot. They shot terribly, but
they settled. And I felt like they tried to beat Golden State with the game that Golden State invented. Like they invented the 3-ball, you know what I'm saying? The high velocity scoring game. And you're not going to be able to beat Golden State in that manner. What really gave Golden State troubles when they played Memphis was attacking the paint. So I think Jason Kidd, he does adjust, but they have to win tonight at American Airlines or it might be a clean sweep. So it might get dark early.
No, I mean, I agree. But look, let's also remember against Phoenix, the home team won each game until game 7, and then Luka did what Luka did, and it helped that team blow out Phoenix in an embarrassing fashion. Right. So I'm like you. So let's go around. Mike, who wins today's game? Mavericks or Golden State?
I got Mavericks winning tonight's game. They're at home. It's a loyal group of fans. They can't wait to scream and holler and try to get into the mind of Draymond Green. And I think Draymond, and I think, I'll even throw this caveat. I think Draymond, he gets ejected tonight.
I think he gets ejected too. Jordan, who you got?
Ooh. I think I'm gonna agree with Mike. I'm gonna go with the Mavericks.
First of all, we know you go with the Mavericks because
I told you what my formula's been. So talking about gambling. I love my Mavericks, but I love my money. I've been going with Golden State lately. I feel like the Mavericks will get them at home. Just don't play whoop that trick out there.
Toriano, who you got, man?
Golden State in overtime.
Huh?
Golden State in overtime.
Oh. Okay.
Golden State in overtime.
I've got Dallas in this game. I just think playing at home, like Mike, I think Draymond is going to get ejected. I just don't get it, man. I mean, I like Draymond, but I'm always trying to figure out, like, dude, what do you think you get from whining, complaining, and yelling at the officials, and you think that they're not going to put you out, and then you're hurting your team, but yet you do it anyway? Because look, depending on where you at, now granted, they might not have put you out in Golden State because you at home. I ain't too sure that they're not going to try to give you 2 quick tees and get you out the game quickly. Right. Blake, who you got in this game? I want to get your
I got Mavs at home.
He's smart, man.
There we go.
At this, D, Draymond ain't never won an argument. Right?
Yeah.
He's winless. So, dude, don't even try to go there.
If you're Steve Kerr, though, how do you? I mean,
can't.
I've always wondered, how do you deal with Draymond? Because it's like he literally cost you all a championship, which I know you all kind of forgive and forget because of the other 2 that you won when Kevin Durant was there, but you still lost a championship. And during the playoffs, I mean, again,
how did Phil Jackson deal with Dennis Rodman? You let him be.
Yeah, but he knew what that line was, and it's a different. I also have Michael Jordan, and mind you, wasn't like he was getting kicked out in the throng of a game. He get kicked out when it's a blowout. He ain't. I mean, and yeah, he let Dennis be Dennis, but Dennis also knew, like, and Jordan talked about it in The Last Dance, like the one time where Scotty wasn't there. I think he got ejected or something, and he knew as according to Mike, he knew he effed up. Came, knocked on his door, asked for a cigar, and then next thing you know, Dennis was playing well and stuff.
And who was watching that? Steve Kerr.
Right.
My man.
Oh, but now last night's game, Celtics and Miami Heat. I ain't gonna lie, man. It's something about Miami Heat. I don't know. I don't think I got the same with Jimmy Butler. I just don't think he's just that guy. We kind of talked about on Friday, but you all surprised how they just blew? Well, they didn't blow the lead because they led from beginning to end, but they blew a 26-point lead, got it, and almost. They had a 26-point lead, got down to 1 before securing the win. Boston obviously had more turnovers. They had 22, 29 turnovers or something in last night's game. If you're Boston, are you kicking yourself in the foot? Because I'm not going to lie. Personally, I was most disappointed with last night was Jason Tatum. I don't know. It's like, for me, Luka and Steph are really the only two remaining superstars left in this game. Superstars, by that I mean they come and play, and they show up to play every game. Stats, numbers, whatever. Jimmy Butler, he had that 40. He had that 40-point game. Then disappeared in game 2. Well, 29, but it was unimpactful. And then, of course, he went out injured. Last night, players was dropping like flies left and right, and then it seemed like they go in the locker room and they, got a juice of that Wolverine or something. And then we saw Marcus Smart come out and come out and heal up quickly. And I ain't gonna lie, I thought Jason Tatum was kind of faking that little shoulder injury because he went down.
Yeah.
He opened up his eyes, see the camera looking directly at him. Let me close my eye back again.
We
Back
all
on
saw
camera
that.
still there. Let me close my eyes back.
He didn't pull the Paul Pierce wheelchair.
Oh, well, if anybody, it would have been Marcus Smart because you saw the video footage of that ankle. I was like, damn, he done broke his damn ankle. Then he comes back out and he's doing his thing. But your thoughts on this Eastern Conference series and who wins Game 4 on tomorrow night?
Yeah, I feel like this series is going to go 7. To be honest with you, I think it's going to be the tightest series out of the conference matchups. I think the Celtics will win Game 4 and push it. I think that Marcus Smart they better. But I one thing I will disagree, man. I believe Jason Tatum is a superstar.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I think Jason Tatum is an NBA superstar.
We just gonna say he just had a bad game last night.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he had a bad game.
Okay.
He had an off game.
I can live with that.
Yeah, you look at what they did in that last series versus the Bucks as well. I mean, that's superstar right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like this is two solid teams. And even though Miami really doesn't get the credit they deserve, because people forget they were in the finals before in the bubble. But I know a lot of people want to not pay attention to the bubble. Yeah. But it's like Miami's been there, and Jimmy Butler is the anchor of that team. Like he gets the whole mindset defensively on both sides of the court. So I think it's going to go down to 7, and we'll come back and see how I feel about Game 7. But I think it's going to be stretched out.
Bam Adebayo had a huge game last night, Toriano. Where like you see this series and who win Games 4?
I like Bam. Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, see?
I like Bam. But, man, growing up, in the 80s and 90s watching basketball, I was not a Celtics fan. I loved Showtime. But when Paul Pierce got to the C's, man, I started liking the C's. They had Antoine Walker and all those guys did. Eventually, they ended up getting KG and Ray Allen. So I like the C's. I'm a big-time Jason Tatum fan. He is what Michael Porter Jr. should be, by the way. Jason Tatum is a superstar. He had a bad game. I got the C's tomorrow, and I got them winning in 7. Absolutely. I'm a big-time fan of Jason Tatum.
Mike, what's
I don't think Miami has enough of their last name to eat. I don't think they got enough. And I'm gonna go. I mean, I'm a Butler fan. He played his junior college ball right down the street here at Tyler Junior College, and so guess I need to go talk to his coach tomorrow to get an insight from him, like I do from time to time. But he doesn't have enough supporting players, and I just think Marcus Smart. He is that dude. He's the new truth, if you will, from when Pierce was there. I like watching Miami Heat. I'm glad they won last night, but I think the Celtics are going to be the ones to take it on home.
Blake, where do you see this series going?
I think this is a good toss-up because if Jason Tatum can just have a little bit more ball protection, he's even getting his pocket protected a little bit more. But if he can protect the ball, and I think because of yesterday, 2 days ago? Yesterday. I think he's going to have a little bit more chip on his shoulder. I don't know if Jimmy's going to be able to play in the next game. From reports, we don't really know how his knee is feeling. The trainers are what kept him out. It wasn't actually his decision. The trainers were like, we can't let you play. So I think the Celtics come back to tie it up 2-2. Once it's even, if Jason Tatum can keep it rolling, I think it's on from there. And I got the Celtics with him.
One thing I've noticed about this is what these two series have showed us is that really no lead is too safe. I mean, I can't remember how much the Mavericks were up Friday night. I know it was in the 20s, if not 26 or something like 26, 20. They were up a lot of points before, eventually, as Mike said, I think earlier, you don't have to shoot 3-point shots all the time. I mean, so you're getting a barrage of 3-point shots along with 3-point plays, layups, and stuff like that, where, again, if you get stops here and there, you can stop a team from scoring and build a gap. Again, 26 points last night. I was just thinking like, damn, if I had some money, I'd at least go, live bet and live bet. Well, okay, I'm going to take the Celtics plus 25 because by that time it would have been, would have been astronomical. So you at least could have got some off of that. But I'm with you all. I've got the Celtics winning tomorrow. I do have them winning in 7. No, I've got to win it at 6 because I think what's gonna have to happen is obviously they're going to have to win tomorrow for that to happen. But I also think, depending on the health of Jimmy Butler, I think they can go back down there. It's one of those things where you get hit in the mouth and you want to see how team or how players going to respond. Mm-hmm. Jason Tatum got hit in the mouth last night. I mean, just he essentially got embarrassed. I mean, the many turnovers that he had, and that's just uncharacteristic of the Celtics of that team. And I know, Mr. Neil Long, I know that they're having game film and stuff. Game.
See what you just did.
Yeah, I know what I did. But he's going to get these players ready to play. And here's the thing: it's funny because if you notice, teams that have getting beaten or blown out, they come out hot the very next game, and it's like you can expect it, but it's like they just can't seem to do anything to stop it until later on in the second, third quarter it kind of gets settled down, and they're able to do something to get better for it. But yeah, I do think Mr. Neil Long and shout out. I do want the Celtics to go because I want it to be all about Neil Long and the NBA Finals.
Okay.
So
I'm lost. I don't know. I don't get the joke. I don't get the joke at all.
The Boston Celtics head coach, he's married to Neil Long.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I had no clue.
Yeah. Boys in the Hood, Neil Long.
Oh, whoa.
Fresh Prince, Neil Long. Yeah.
I had no clue.
J. Cole, hey, let me shoot my shot, Neil Long. Yeah. That Neil Long.
Okay,
that Neil Long.
I really like the C's now.
Yeah. I'm saying, I'm like, man, if I was, hey,
Kansas City.
Hey, wouldn't that be a great thing for an NBA basketball team to be at the Sprint Center?
Yeah,
as a permanent resident.
It needs to happen.
Oh my God,
it needs to happen.
Hell, I tell you, look, hey, I ain't gonna lie. I settle for NHL at this rate.
Right.
Give us something beside these damn concerts and Disney on Ice. But
tell Patrick to put the money up.
Huh?
Patrick can put the money up.
Well, we tried to look, but we got a minute left. Quickly, Mike, where can people reach out to you on social media?
M. Coleman at M. Coleman4 on Twitter, of course, Facebook. I was hacked, so I'm starting a new page, so jump on board there. And Instagram, which is interesting in itself. So Michael Coleman 4398.
All right, so we got to get Mike on this quickly part. Jordan Tucker, how about you?
Yeah, you can find me at JTuck151 on all social media platforms and my YouTube channel, CFO Sports. Salute to everyone in the chat tonight.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe as well as Toriano.
Real easy, guys. Everything is on at Toriano Porter as far as social media, and my website is torianoporter.com, and subscribe to your local neighborhood newspaper.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, make sure you subscribe to the Kansas City Star for no other reason than to read my man's work right here.
I'm blessed. I'm honored.
And of course, Blake, where can he find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Wake, capital N Blake, Wake and Blake 29.
Sure ain't woke Blake. So, all right, and of course you can find me at Darren Smith WHB. We'll be back next Sunday. If it's Sunday, not only is it Meet the Press, but it's the Ship with Darren Smith right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Be blessed.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Jeff Briggs with Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, home of the Victory Effect.